So I'm Smash Tack. What way? This way. This is Josh from Symmetrical Defiance. As you can see, we were having technical difficulties, but now we are here. So we're going to interview Josh today.
Sweet. Let's do this.
Are you nervous?
Not really. I've done about 1,000 interviews. I mean, I kind of am because it's the first one with you, but yeah, no, I'm ready to go.
Okay. All right. So the whole thing of United Ambition is that we want artists, musicians, bands, whatever, to come on here, and we want them to kind of give us like the backstory of how they became in the music scene, what inspired them, stuff like that, just because to all the beginners and people that have just recently, you know, gotten into the music scene, a lot of them get really discouraged easily. They get frustrated, and it's kind of like one of those platforms as to where they can see that everybody goes through it. It's not like a huge deal, like don't panic, don't freak out type thing.
Yeah.
So you should be excited and stuff because you're the first interview for this whole thing.
I'm very excited about this.
I'm like freaking out. I dressed for the occasion
as well, so.
I dressed for the occasion.
Nice. Very cool. Very cool. It's actually awesome to see our shirts like that and our hoodies and stuff on people.
Seriously, I'm obsessed with this. Like the whole logo. Actually, can you give everybody in here a backstory about your logo?
Okay. The logo is a conglomerate logo. Basically, it's made up of a bunch of different logos, from everything from Mercury, with the Greek symbol for Mercury, and the alchemist symbol for I can't remember what the alchemist symbol was, but it's a conglomerate. Basically, it means our name.
It means Symmetrical Defiance.
Basically, yes.
Which is like the coolest thing.
Yeah, it boils down to how I don't even know how it boils down to it. There's this whole big thing. I'll post it afterward for what it actually entails and like what the story is behind it and everything. But it literally means Symmetrical Defiance, which is so weird how it worked out. But yeah,
I think it's friggin' awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty
like sweet. When you told me that one night on the phone, I was like,
yeah, I know, it's crazy.
Okay, so my first question for you, my friend, is when you got into the music scene, which was what year?
Oh, God, I was 16, so...
We're not going to age you. Don't do that. You don't have to.
Most people know how old I am, but that's all right. Basically, I was 16 years old, and so I've been in it for quite a while.
Okay, so that being said, when you were ready to enter the music scene, you had, you know, your buddies in your band probably, right? You were 16. You thought you were hot shit because you knew what you were doing, you know?
Yeah.
All right. No. So when that happened, like, where did you guys even begin? Like, were you writing your own music? Were you doing covers or?
Well, when I first started in music, period, I mean, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I actually didn't become a front man until I was probably in my 20s. Okay. I started out playing drums, bass, and guitar because my dad was a lead guitarist of a band, and my mom, or rhythm guitarist, and my mom was actually a bass player / keyboardist of a band as well. So
shit. It's in your blood.
Yeah, basically. So it was really cool. I started with bass a lot. I picked up a lot with bass, and then I just moved on from there. Basically, we used to jam, just do covers. We learned songs that we liked, and we just tried to emulate those pretty much for the time being. And then when I started doing vocals, it was the same thing. I fell into the groove of heavy vocals like Kill Switch Engaged, and In Flames and things of that nature. So when I started to do that, and then Lamb of God, I heard Lamb of God album, Ashes of the Wake, and that really sparked a huge propulsion of my vocals. So
okay, so since your mom and dad are both in music, was that kind of like your inspiration on like getting into it?
Yes and no. I always liked to perform. Like my dad would always wake me up and have me sing stuff and things like that when I was a kid. But I was always around music, so I always liked music in general, and I always had a huge array of music I was around, everything from like Creedence Clearwater Revival on up.
Right.
So it's just crazy how much music was in the family at the time. And then I just was like dabbling with music basically. And I saw what my dad did, and I saw what my mom did, and I saw how much fun they had. So I just wanted to have fun, basically.
Right.
And that's how I started. I just wanted to have fun and do what I wanted to do.
Hell, I mean, that's honestly how most people get into it. And I can totally understand like the background music of like how you grew up and stuff. Like my dad, if my dad was still alive, he'd be in his 70s right now. My mom's 55 or so. They were 18 years apart.
Mm-hmm.
So growing up, I got to grow up with like 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. And
Right.
then my mom, she was like super into 80s. And, you know, obviously I was born in the 90s. But it's like one of the best ways to grow up is like, you know, and it really like, it kind of shows your age depending on, you know, because a lot of people that have parents that were like hanging out in the 80s with music and stuff, it's like, oh, if you grew up listening to Bon Jovi and Motley Crue and Whitesnake and stuff, it's like, okay, you're at least like 20, 30 years old, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's music is everything. I mean,
No, it really is.
It is.
Music is definitely everything, especially when it comes to an array. Like I said, my playlist is so extensive and like jumps genres and people that it's like people are always like impressed and kind of weirded out when they actually hear my playlist.
Honestly, speaking of being weirded out, like that night that, okay, so a little bit of a backstory. So I've been listening to Symmetrical Defiance for about 1.5 years, 2 years now. So.
Yeah, roughly.
And I never actually spoke to you, like just, you know, speaking on the phone, on video messenger, whatever. And guys, I'm not even kidding you. If you know Symmetrical Defiance's music and listening to his voice now, it's like from here all the way over there, like to the wall. I mean, it's like, it's crazy. You know, normally with like people that do screams and stuff, you can kind of hear their normal voice out of it. With you, it's completely different. It's wild to me. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, it's weird. Like I hear that a lot, and I'm like, well, I grew up in the era of where we didn't have the internet. So if that gives you a little clue on how old I am, that'll definitely do it. I remember dial-up, and I remember when the internet first happened. So
that horrible noise.
Oh God, that noise. But no. So it's weird that you should say that because, like, I forgot where I was going with this. That
goddamn dial-up.
I know that dial-up, man. I tell you, it sucks. But no, when that first all happened, I didn't have the luxury of looking up, you know, YouTube videos or, you know, learning how to scream per se, or learning how to do extreme vocals. So it was kind of all trial and error, and it's definitely been unique in how I do my vocals. A lot of people say it's very unique and how it happens, and when they watch me live on stage and the sound I get out of it. But it just comes natural most of the time. I don't really have to think about doing it. It just kind of is my voice, I guess.
Right.
But it's really weird because like when I try and do certain styles and certain things, my voice is like, nah, you better not start that crap. You just need to stop right now. Go back to doing what you were doing. Yeah.
Take a couple steps back. Proceed.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So when you guys were in the 16-year-old stage of your beginning band, you guys are doing covers and stuff. Did you guys want to go play, or did you just hang out in a garage and play?
Well, I mean, we always wanted to be quote unquote rock stars. So yeah, we always wanted to play for people. Absolutely. We didn't care how crappy we were. We didn't care how anything, it didn't matter. We just wanted to play for people. And so that's what we strive for. We had no clue what a stage show was. We had no clue what we were doing. But all we knew is that we were having fun and everyone else was going to have fun with us. So
right.
that's kind of weird.
Well, I mean, you got to start somewhere, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, and honestly, I give credit to like there's a band called Steel Mage,
Mhm.
and, you know, some of those kids in there are like 15 and 14 years old. And
Yeah.
it's like, how did you, what? Like, you know, how do you even know like where you guys are going? Like, I didn't even know half of the stuff. Like, I didn't even know how to cross the street properly whenever I was like 13. Like, you
I
know,
honestly didn't either, and it's weird. Like I think the technology had a lot to do with it, and has a lot to do with it. I mean, you can find anything now. I mean,
yeah.
you with a couple keystrokes, you can actually find out, you know, how to scream, how it should feel, you know, how to play guitar, the basics of music theory, which you used to have to go to college for.
Oh,
You know,
yeah, right.
music theory in general. I mean, there's so much information out there now that, and you know, 11, 12, if you can work a keyboard and you can understand, you know, how to type something in, you're pretty much golden for
Oh,
figuring
yeah,
something out.
for
So
sure. And honestly, I mean, especially with like the technology of like, you know, smartphones and stuff, you could just get bored like while you're on a bus or, you know, sitting in the back of your mom and dad's car and look it up. I mean,
exactly.
it's crazy. You could look it up at one red light, three red lights away, you're screaming. You know,
Yeah,
you're the new rock star of metal, you know.
right. Exactly. Exactly.
So,
And so it gives everybody a kind of an equal but diluted slate almost, like
exactly,
when it
yeah.
comes to that. So
Exactly. Okay, so when did you get to the band where you finally started like doing performances?
I think my first band that we did performances was a band called Hamas. No, it was before then. It was called Betrayed to the Infinite. Um, and we ended up changing it from Downpour because there was a band at the time called Downpour.
Okay.
Um, that was a lot bigger than we ever were. And we had changed it to Betrayed to the Infinite. And it was like 5-song EP we did, and we played a little rinky dink place that I think was an all ages, I want to say a club for
Okay.
adolescents, I guess. There was no alcohol, no nothing. It was video games, a stage, and a juice bar, like, and snacks, literally. And they had a full PA, so we went in there, and yeah, that was my first show, and it was scary as hell.
Wow.
And it was all original music, so nobody had a clue what we were doing.
Oh my gosh. Now, was that like rock or metal?
It was metal,
Yeah.
kind of. It was a metal, and it was kind of like infused new metal because at that time, new metal was a big, huge thing. It was a big movement going on.
Right.
Well, what is classified now as new metal? Corn and all them came out, El Nino and stuff like that. So, Superjoint Ritual was a big thing. Phil had just started that band, so we actually did a song from them, Haunted Hated, as well. But that was the only cover we did. Oh no, we did do Paranoid as well by Black Sabbath, but we did it on our twist take, and yeah, it was pretty
That's
heavy
awesome.
actually.
That's super cool. Were you
Yeah.
the singer for that band too?
Yep, I was the vocalist for that band as well.
That is awesome. Oh my gosh. So you've been in this ongoing for a while.
Yeah, feels like for a while. You know, I took a break for a couple of years. In between, I didn't even think I was going to be able to find a band to really be into or to really um, click with. I guess there's always that part of a band where you come to a cusp, and it's like either you get on it or you fall apart. So, and that's
Exactly.
basically what happened with most of them.
Like the good old saying, it's going to make you or break you type of
Mm-hmm.
thing. So, okay. So, for as long as you have been in the music scene without like trying to find a band and stuff, obviously that's a lot of stress for most people because it's get in a pre-existing band or start your own, and both are hard because you have to get to
Right.
know everybody, you have to make sure you have the chemistry, stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
With that being said, besides that, what was the biggest struggle that you had to go through, as in like gaining a following or management or like booking shows even?
Yeah, booking shows was always a hard one for us. We never knew how to go about booking shows, and in this area, everybody was doing shows, so it was so diluted that you'd get 1-2 people at the show, because down the street, you'd have Cold be playing, or at one of the major arenas, or you have down the street over here a cover band that everybody knows, that's lighting up the house basically. And here we are with 4 people, 5, 10, whatever it is, which we had a great show with that. And we liked the intimacies as well that come with that show. But it does get disheartening when you're first starting out and you have that, and it's just, the promotion wasn't there. The actual like caring, I guess, about the individual bands that are going on at those times, and promoters were constantly doing this instead of like coming together and being like, hey, we're going to have a major show this night. You might want to push it off to this night or something like that. Right. We'll work around and we'll get a almost like something for everyone type of thing. So
right. Okay, so with booking shows and stuff, how you said that promoters go like head to head.
Yeah, there was a lot of it.
Yeah. Do you find it easier to work around that now? Is it still like that?
I mean, in some areas it is. The term local, when it comes to local, anyone hears local and they're like, especially, I don't know how it is in your area, but in our area, they hear local, they think, oh, crappy garage band. Mm-hmm. And that is definitely not the case. Like, there are some bands that even I know that are so good. Yeah. They would beat a lot of, or be a great contestant to outbeat some of the major label bands that I have grown up watching, still listen to, the newcomers, the people that have just made it, stuff like that. Right. They would literally, I think, would probably, with how they perform and how their music is, would probably blow them out of the water if they had the resources that those guys had as well. I mean, and that's the thing, like, a lot of people just don't realize that. They think, local is tagged with garage band type of thing. Exactly.
Well, and that's like another, I feel like a lot of people get discouraged with that as well, because they are considered local. Mm-hmm. They're not signed, they're doing everything themselves. And yeah, they might be able to find a promoter that is on their side. Mm-hmm. But generally, when that promoter's on their side, that promoter might not even know what the heck they're doing. So it's like, especially here in Pittsburgh, I mean, mm-hmm. You and I both live in a pretty populated area. Yeah. So especially when it comes to music, I mean, the whole south side of Pittsburgh is nothing but venues, and, even people that hang out on the sidewalks and they just play their guitar after actual big shows, mm-hmm. down at Stage AE on the north side. I mean, last show I went down there, it was Light the Torch, Seven Dust, and In This Moment. Oh, okay. And almost every corner, there was one guy playing a saxophone, there was one guy playing a guitar. I mean, anywhere you looked, there were still people playing after the show, trying to, get tips, whatever. Mm-hmm. So that being said, I mean, the places that you and I live, it's completely different to, somebody lived in, like, I don't know, like Idaho or Arkansas, or like even Washington. Like, music scenes are so different everywhere.
No, they really are.
Yeah. So that brings me to my next question. If you guys, I think you guys have gone out of state for shows before, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. We've hit up Pennsylvania actually too.
Yeah. So I'm so sorry.
No, that's all right. We didn't go near Pittsburgh.
No, nothing good comes like from Pennsylvania. It's just, just me. But and Hershey chocolate too.
Yeah, but, Hershey is great, I gotta say.
Okay, so when you guys are so used to the music scene that you have, my kid's upstairs moving chairs all by himself, and he's not even 2. My kitchen's gonna be rearranged. Anyways, so when you are used to your own music scene, mm-hmm. when you go to other areas of New York, or when you go to other states, do you see similarities, but also a lot of differences, or how is that for you?
Yeah, I mean, every place we play, whether it's, around New York or outside of New York, it's always interesting, because each part or each place that you play has a different feel and a different atmosphere. And different people, honestly.
Right.
I know one show we might have a bunch of people that we just didn't expect, in the crowd, and we're like, we're off stage, looking at this with our intro going, and the lights going and stuff, and we're like, I don't know how this is going to go over, and the place erupts, and
Yeah.
it's really crazy how many people after a show that even we have experienced, we get off stage and people are coming up and you're like, wow, I don't like metal, and it's like that makes you feel really good,
Right.
that they're like, wow, that was really good. That was a great show. So it's just nice. It's nice to hear that. And we get a lot more of that than we do anything else. Which is good. We never really had I do get heckled on stage, which is really funny because I love when that happens. We actually really go after that one. They become my focus for the whole night. It's great.
Oh my God.
The crowd gets into it. It's fun. I don't make it, awkward or anything. Well, for them it is, but for me, it's not really. So,
Yeah, screw that guy.
yeah, basically, it's like a comedy routine. You know what I mean?
Right.
Comics have to deal with hecklers. We do too. It happens. But yeah, it's most of all a lot of different people with a lot of different views and a lot of different actions and what they like and what they don't like. So
Right. Honestly, though, I like that you do that only because that's not something that you generally get. If you go to a show, not a lot of people, and that's like really something that upsets me is not a lot of people are very crowd reactive. And it's like, if you're just so like monotone and boring up on stage, how are you going to expect the people that you're playing for to have a good time? And it's
Right.
like, if I was up there, like, don't get me wrong, I can't sing, I don't know how to play an instrument, but if I was in a band and I was up on that stage, if I saw people like enjoying themselves, that's going to make me perform better. And I'm sure that's probably how it is for you as well. But
yeah,
it's almost like one of those things that if you do your stage presence and you do heckle people and like, do like the comedic act, you're going to be remembered forever. And it might not even be from the guy that you were like screwing with, but like the whole crowd's going to remember that and be like, oh, those guys are fucking awesome,
Yeah.
So that's like awesome. Like, it's something that you do not get.
Yeah, it's really crazy. Like when we first started with Symmetrical being getting more and more bigger shows and stuff like that and festivals and stuff, we really started to actually be like, what can we do for a stage show? Like what could we do that puts us above the rest instead of just getting on stage, loading in our gear, doing a mini sound check while people are watching us and waiting for us to start,
Yeah.
So we have since, we've worked our asses off basically to upgrade equipment, put on a stage show, actually have lights. We have a full PA now. We have all of the means. Basically, we have an intro that we start with that was custom made for us by a friend of ours, Mark from Without a Chord as well. So I contacted him and was like, hey, we need an intro that's all our own. Gave him the specs and he made it for us. And so
That's
it adds to
awesome.
the stage show. So it's pretty cool.
See, not a lot of people realize how important that is as well.
Yeah.
It's, you just go up, load in, do the really, really awkward sound check.
Yeah.
Perform, and you're like, okay, see you guys at the merch stand. And that's it. It's just very bland and kind of blah. But a lot of people don't realize that not only do you have to put into the music, you have to make it, it's not just a band, it's a business.
Right. Exactly.
So, you have to invest in yourselves as a whole band, not just with the music. And I think that everything that you guys are doing is just spot on. I mean, that's one of the biggest reasons that I really wanted you on here, to interview as like one of the first, because you and Symmetrical Defiance, I mean, all of it. It's just a production, and you guys are super professional about it, but like you're also very friendly about it. And it's not like, oh, well, that guy wears a scary mask and has a scary voice, like let's not go up to him type of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's really crazy. Like kids come up, it's really fun. And, sometimes, I mean, they're a little apprehensive, but most of the time when we have a kid at a crowd or anything like that, I make it a point to either get them on stage or, make them feel special in some way. So,
Right.
it's really cool. I love the fact that I could be or have inspired a new generation of music, because they saw me, they're like, hey, I want to do that as well. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I like
Well,
that.
honestly, like, I mean, a lot of people here on Facebook don't really know that I have 4 kids,
Hmm.
but I'm telling you what, when you were nice enough, the whole band was nice enough to send me that care package
Hmm.
of the shirt, the bandana, the bracelets, the necklace, all of it. My daughter was so obsessed with that guitar pick bracelet that you had sent. I mean, she's wearing it at her dad's right now. Like that does not leave her wrist. It's
That's
Symmetrical
awesome.
Defiance and Smash Attack. That's
That's
it,
awesome.
So, she was like, "Well, that's a band." And I was like, "Yeah, it is a band." And I let her watch some of your live stuff from
Hmm.
YouTube, and she was just like, "Was he mad?" And I was like, "Maddie, no, he
uh,
wasn't mad." And she's like, "Well, I like it." And it's so funny because she has this little, it looks like a purse. It's a big plastic thing. And it's actually a boombox. It's a JoJo Siwa. I know you know what JoJo Siwa is,
yeah.
but it has like a microphone.
Hmm.
And she like blows into it to try and like make a scream noise. And she's like, "I'm like, my bracelet." And I'm like, "Yes, you are. Like, good job." So, I mean, you're inspiring kids that aren't even in your state and have never seen you like actually live in person. So,
That's
you're
awesome.
doing a good job.
That's awesome. That's great. I love it. I love hearing that.
Yeah. Yeah, she's obsessed with you guys. She's like, "I like listening to that." I mean, and it's funny because she does the horns and she headbangs, but as she
Hmm.
focuses on headbanging, her fingers do this. It's so funny. Like they go like down like real slow. Um,
That's
but
funny.
yeah, I love that you guys are like super. I mean, you're a family man yourself.
Yes, I have
So
3 kids. Yep.
having, the kids, like that has to be a fun time, like getting the kids like inspired and they
It is. It's funny. My kids have never really seen me, nor I don't think they really care unless I do it in front of them. Like if I'm actually there doing this, you know what I mean? Um, and if I actually am there, like in like practicing at my house, and I'm taking care of them, and they're running around, my one daughter will hates metal. She doesn't care for hard music. She's more of a pop dance girl.
okay.
And then my oldest daughter, she actually surprised me one day, and we were sitting around a table and we were eating, and she started singing "Let It Go," but not singing it. She started screaming it, and I'm talking full growl,
I
like
love her.
did it better than I think most people that I've heard, and didn't stop until it was done. And it was like
That is awesome.
I literally just sat there and was just like, "Yep, this is it. This is great."
That's parenting done right.
Yeah, apparently. And then my son, I put on death metal, and we have our little moments where he just listens to crazy extreme death metal with me and just sits there and headbangs and does
That
his
is
little thing. So
awesome.
yeah, it's fun. It's
So
a blast.
have they seen you with the mask on?
Yeah, yes, they have.
What do they think about
Actually,
that?
the first time I put it on, my daughter, I scared the crap out of her. She hated it. She ran in fright, and that was the whole big thing when I got it first. My wife told me don't do it, and I said, well, I'm going to do it, and I did it, and yeah. So I had to spend the next 6 months trying to get her out of the fact that Daddy's not a monster, and neither is the mask. So, but yeah, she likes it now. I mean, she has, she asked me to wear the skull mask now. She asked me to wear the any one of my masks. Because I'm a big Halloween fan. So
Yeah.
she doesn't like the decorations, but she likes the masks now. So it's kind of nice.
Well, that's good. I mean, what kind of dad would you be if you weren't trying to fuck with your kids,
Apparently, I mean,
I love it. That's awesome. I mean, I think, like I said, everything that you guys are doing is awesome, especially my biggest thing is the kids. I mean, there's so many kids that are looking up to all of these bands right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, they're the future for the
Yeah.
music that all of us like. So it's like, if we don't teach them the right ways, or the, you know, the good stuff, or, well, what we think is the good stuff, I guess we could say. But, you know, what the hell is going to happen to rock and metal?
I honestly, you know, it's weird. I think that everything will survive. However, it's really weird. It's a really weird dynamic and shift with people. You know, they think that like they won't listen to metal because it's like too screaming or too, you know, they always think it's just screaming and loud and makes no sense.
Right.
When in actuality, it's crazy because like a lot of metal, with the exception of grindcore and stuff like that and porno grind, that's noise. It's great noise. I love it, but it's definitely, that is the epitome of what I think they think when they think metal.
Right.
And a lot of it's more closer to classical music and blues and jazz. I mean, jazz and classical, I would say, are probably the two main genres that really play into metal.
Right.
And it's insane how many riffs that we can dumb down. I mean, our song "Waiting in the Shadows," we joked, me and my guitarist and my drummer was there too, Evan, me, Rex, and Evan. And I go, do you realize that song, if you take the distortion off of it, all of those riffs in the beginning of it are country riffs? And he goes,
No.
he stops, he thinks, and he goes, you know what? I think you're right. And my good friend Joe actually messaged me about it, and he goes, yeah, I love that because it's country. It's like a country influence. And I'm like, no, it's not. And he's like, re-listen to it. So I did, and yeah, it is. It's pretty cool.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
So you
it's
guys are
weird.
doing stuff you don't even realize.
No, it's weird. We're such a conglomerate of just different things. And I think that's what makes it so much fun and so worth it.
Right. Okay, so we have been live for 32 minutes. So I'm going to ask you a few like beginner questions.
Okay.
So if there's people watching this, what is your best possible advice that you can give them right now?
Well, I mean, with the state of the world as it is right now, it's hard. You know,
Right.
Don't give up. Don't let it get you down as much as you can. I mean, we're lucky and fortunate enough to have income coming in. A lot of bands don't, and a lot of bands have, broke up because of it. I've
Right.
watched a lot of venues close.
Yep.
A good venue that I used to go to all the time and watch, big bands. I mean, I've seen Fear Factory there and Children of Bodom, R.I.P. Lexi, and so many bands. Lamb of God, there. Emir, I think I saw there too. Zayo was one of them that opened up, and that place just closed down. And I was like, oh God, my heart breaks.
Right. It's like all
insane.
the memories.
It is. But you know what? Where something bad happens, something good comes out of it, and something will arise, and the new generation will start with that as well. And it'll always keep going. Always press on, never give up, and just, if you like doing what you're doing, then just do it. I mean, seriously, Like don't let anybody stand in your way. Don't let anyone tell you it's a dumb dream. Don't let anyone tell you that, you shouldn't be a rock star, whatever the case is. Just go and have fun. If you have fun doing it, everyone else will have fun doing it as well.
And this is why we're friends, because you're full of positivity.
I try.
All right. So how do you feel about the live streams that people are doing?
I like it. I do like it. It's hard for people to schedule live streams because, everyone's got a different schedule, especially now, especially with things, if you got kids, them coming out of school, them going into school, them, all sorts of things, your jobs, if you have one, if you're lucky enough to have one,
exactly.
There's so many different things that I love the fact that they're doing, and I love the fact that a lot of them are doing it for free. But at the same token, putting up the donation part, of it to have people donate. And I've noticed a lot of people that get a lot of good feedback on that, and a lot of good response.
Right.
Help them out and stuff like that. We haven't done it yet because in our studio, we have no Wi-Fi, we have no internet, we have no nothing. We do have a studio, but it's not equipped with that yet.
Right after I said you guys had your shit together, you
I
just
know.
have to go and do me like that.
I know. We can do tapings and stuff, but we just
Right.
can't, we can't do a live stream as of yet with that. As it gets warmer and stuff like that, we should be able to find a way to do it for everybody and live stream it from someplace. We definitely are, trying to find a venue or some place to actually do that from.
Right.
So we can at least live stream it from Facebook. It's still a weird dynamic though, because I don't really know how it works per se. So I'm still looking into that. I'm sure I'll be contacting a bunch of different people that have, done it as well. Because I also don't want it to be clipped or sound like crap over the internet either, for them to be like, what, I can't even understand what they're doing, even more so than normal. So
yeah, it's like, how do these guys have a following again?
Yeah, exactly. But I think it's a great thing. I really do. But there's nothing like a live show. You just nothing like that.
Yeah. I see, one of my favorite things about going to a live show is seeing other people in the crowd that are there for the same exact reason, for one.
Yep.
And two, the way that the drums feel whenever they're going into your chest. There's no other feeling like that in the world.
No, absolutely. And yeah, my drummer definitely puts them right to someone's chest. So that's great.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I love it.
I can't get enough of you guys. So I'm going to start asking some Symmetrical Defiance questions.
Let's do it.
This has nothing to do with this interview. Are we going to be able to expect new music from you guys soon?
Answer is yes. We have a single being mixed and mastered right now. And then we also are going into the studio on this Sunday, actually, to record another song. Yeah, we've been busy writing, so we haven't been idle. I know we haven't been doing much online and stuff like that, but we've been definitely doing a lot as far as behind the scenes and everything. Getting stuff together, merch, which everyone, if you're not familiar with us, I print merch as well for the band.
And he does a kick-ass job too. I mean,
Thank you.
This thing's been through the washer quite a few times because I wear it all the time. And
thank you.
I mean, it looks just as good as the day that you sent it to me. So
thank you. And yeah, we try and keep everything in-house, and when we can, we do utilize other people that help us out as well. But yeah, we have a group of people that we go to for artwork. We have a group of people that we go to for other merch, ideas, stuff like that. And that really help us out too. We're fortunate enough to have those people to actually help us out, which is great.
Absolutely.
Again, networking connections, thank God. But yeah, it's, we're definitely got a lot of music on the way. We also have about 5 other songs that we're buttoning up right now. So we'll have an array once, hopefully, if everything goes through and everything, we have a way to play live.
Okay.
We will definitely have new material to play live as well. So
awesome. I'm super excited for that. I'm so excited because
I mean,
I love all of your music, but I'm just like,
I want to hear more.
Where's that new one? Okay, come on, Josh, let's go. Come on.
I know. It's rough. It really is. Sometimes it's not just. I think people don't realize that either. When you get a group of 4 or 5 guys, I mean, we're a band of 4, but when you get a group of 4 or 5 guys together, you have to go around different schedules. You got to go around different work, stuff like that. Getting people to studio life in general, so it takes a little while to do it, but once it's done, it's definitely rewarding. And I think everyone's gonna like the 2 singles that we're gonna be putting out first. So
hell yeah, I'm super excited. With everything, I mean, even whenever you and I talk and we just have like our typical, like, I swear I have morning coffee with you every day because you're like, hey girl, hey, so I have like my morning coffee, like messaging you, and like everything that you guys tell me that you're doing, like behind the scenes, that you guys will eventually find out, whoever is watching this. But when it comes down to everything behind the scenes, I mean, you guys are really like, I feel like this whole quarantine, you guys have been doing nothing but keeping your heads down, busting your asses. And it's just like, as soon as everything goes back to normal, it's just going to be like, poof, like right in the face.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping for.
Yeah.
So we'll
Yeah.
definitely see what happens from there
Oh,
for sure.
yeah. All right. Well, I think I don't have any questions for you anymore. Is there anything that you want to promote for yourself, like merch?
Yeah, we do have merch. I am printing more merch as well. We are kind of running low on a couple of things. We'll be having new merch coming out as well. And we also, just want to say, thank you for everyone that's helped us out. And if you do and can, not just us, but anybody, if they have a Cash App link, if they have, PayPal, if they've got anything to help support them, a dollar goes a long way, honestly.
It does, yeah.
And buy something, buy a piece of merch from a band that isn't signed, we're not signed either, but it's so weird how that $1 can help out somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we do
yeah,
this
for sure.
other people too.
Yeah, I mean, that's like the wristband sales that I just did. Like, I have so many donations just from that to go to, venues around the area, just so.
Which is amazing, by the way. So I commend you for that.
Thanks.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's been, I mean, I just don't want to see any more venues go down. I don't want to see any more bands break up. So
Right.
I'm doing my part because I don't have a band or a venue yet.
Yeah.
To try and just make people stay alive, like stay afloat. I can't, there's too much heartbreak.
Yeah.
I can't see anymore just go down in a sinking ship. I can't do it. So, but yeah, guys, go ahead and follow Symmetrical Defiance on Instagram and Facebook. They have a YouTube. They're on Spotify. I mean, they're everywhere. They're everywhere. Just type in their names. They're there.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for doing this interview with me.
Absolutely.
I greatly appreciate it. And thank you for being the first one and letting me ramble just a tad, because I haven't done an interview in so long. So,
not a problem. Thank you so much for having me, honestly.
Hell yeah.
You
Guys are welcome at all times.
Good. Maybe we'll have the whole band together at one point, and we'll have to do a band interview.
Oh my God. That would be just like a whole bunch of laughing, I feel like. Like we wouldn't even be able, we'd be like, hi guys, and then it would just be laughing for 45 minutes.
Tangent.
Hey, did you see that one guy with that thing and the other song and blah blah blah? It would just be a whole bunch of stuff if all of us were on here at one time.
No, I think it would be, actually.
It'd be awesome. It'd be super cool. Yeah, we definitely gotta plan that. We'll put it on the Smash Attack one so it doesn't have to be professional.
Awesome. Sweet.
So, all right, guys, that is it. And thank you. And thank you guys for all being here. We are really trying to make a difference with United Ambition. And for all you beginners out there, don't give up. Don't get discouraged. And honestly, if you can, I'm sure that there's a bunch of people you can mentor in your area. Shout out to them.
Yeah.
There's, like Josh said, it's not a stupid dream. Everybody starts somewhere, so don't get discouraged.
Absolutely not.
That's
and go follow Flash. Go follow her. Follow her. Follow her. Follow everything that she's on. Follow Brent. Follow everyone that you can. Seriously, every little follow helps. And this woman's doing some good stuff. So seriously. So thank you, Smash. Appreciate it.
I try. All right, guys. Well, thank you all for tuning into the first interview. We greatly appreciate it. And we will see you back on Friday at 6, I think. I'm almost positive 6 o'clock with Andy Ranged, and actually Cho's going to go ahead and do that interview. Yeah. So we'll see you then.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Peace, guys.